What's up, my freedom fam? I'm your favorite libertarian coming to you from the planet Hoth with an exciting new product. This is the ANECHOIC suppressor sent to me by ANECHOIC, so we're going to be doing some testing. For the most part today, we're going to be testing out how quiet this is on this build, which is an 18-inch 223 Wild. And we're also going to be testing out a couple other things like the diaphragm accessories. We're going to be shooting it on this gun, but we're also going to be shooting it on my M&P 1522 with and without the dedicated 22 cap. So stay tuned. It's going to be an exciting time in the snow. Discounts and links in the description below. Also, most importantly, I take prayer requests. So if you have any of those, put those in the comment section. I love praying for you guys. Now let's get on to the actual video. Pew! And now it's time for everyone's favorite portion of the video. What's in the box? It's the portion of the video where I show you what's in the box. Explosion! Alright, so as you can see here, quite a bit comes in the box. You have your manual QR code. I always prefer a paper manual, but they give you a QR code if you want to download it for the manual. You also get two of these stickers, two of these stickers, two of these stickers, and a contact us little card with all the contact information for any questions, comments, or concerns you may have. Of course, we have the actual suppressor itself. Very nice. I did the direct thread option. Also, you get some let's show you how to take this thing completely apart for cleaning purposes, of course. Cleaning purposes only, people. If you want, you can just hold it like this, and you can hold it with your hand on this side, and then you righty-loosey the front cap instead of lefty-loosey. So left is actually going to tighten. Going right is going to loosen the front cap. There's the front cap. Set that aside, and your baffle stack will come right out. So let's take a look at the baffle stack. Since we have everything, I'll give you guys some close-ups. This front one, it has these grooves here. It looks really cool. And it's just a tube on the inside, so nothing crazy about this one. This one here has 5 holes here, and then obviously the hole in the middle, and it has a little hole here. So I'm guessing this is one of the ways that they help redirect gases is this hole, and then these 5 holes here. And then obviously there's a hole through the middle, there's threading, and then the other side doesn't look really that weird at all. You have 3 holes here. You also have a hole in this part of the tube, internal tube here, and nothing crazy on this side. And then these other baffle stacks are exactly the same. Now before I put this back together, I want to show you guys something else that's super cool that is available from ANECHOIC, and that is this. This is a 22 cal specific front cap, which is really cool, especially if you want to get a 22 as quiet as possible. You could, with this end cap, shoot it on a 22, but it's not going to give you the maximum sound deadening capabilities, which is where this guy comes in. Now, another thing that's kind of cool about this is that it comes in all the different colors. So you have your black FDE raw titanium and your OD green, which is what this is. This is OD green. Also a cool thing, just kind of packaging wise, which is kind of nerdy for me to even bring up, but you take this off, just pop it off like that. You can actually take the cardboard, get rid of it, and then you can use this as a little carrying case to protect your front cap. But here's the front cap itself. Same threading, obviously. It says 22 cal on it, so you know it's the right one. You're not accidentally putting one on. And you can also tell the difference between these two because this one has the front vents all around and this one does not. This is what it looks like on the inside, in case you are wondering. And there we go. Now we have a dedicated 22 can. That is humongous for a 22 can, so it will be ridiculously quiet. Can't wait to test that out. The range. Pew 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 pew. But yeah, pretty cool. All right, first we're gonna try this on the 223 Wild 18-inch build. We'll see how we do. All right, how did that sound? Let me know in the comment section below. So this one we have here, for comparison's sake, is the CGS Helios. Ooh, and here we have the AAC M4 2000, an oldie, but a goodie. And that's a nice trigger. All right, let's try this on the 22 with the normal 223 cap, and then let's try it with the exclusively 22 cap. Now for further comparison, before we put the anechoic can on this gun, we're gonna see what an actual 22 suppressor, you know, a little skinny, small, short 22 suppressor sounds like on this M&P 1522. Then we'll put the can on with the regular cap, then we'll put it on with the 22 cap. I should also mention that these are supers, these are not subs. Okay, now let's try it with the dedicated 22 cap. Malfunction! Oh, it's a double feed. All right. What'd you guys think? Does this sound quieter than the Sparrow? Does it sound quieter than the 223 end cap? Let me know in the comments.
Or is it quieter than 8.6 Blackout? It's pretty sweet. Want to try it? I got like
yeah. Yeah.
So I did not load it. So there you go.
Thank you, sir.
Same controls as the AR.
So I awkwardly fumble this.
It shoots slightly high at this range.
Okay.
Not enough if you're minute a man, or if you're like, you know, dot on your target, you're good.
That's such a weird sensation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
expect a big bang.
Boom. I'm thinking I have to move this way further, but it's such a short stroke that I don't have to. I'm gonna do one more. This is ridiculous.
Just use them. I got them.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna try it with just one ear out just to see what it sounds like. It's already charged?
It's charged.
Okay. Yeah, that's quiet.
It's super quiet. I love it.
And I'm gonna try this to see with one ear out if it sounds as quiet as that. I mean, decibel wise, I don't know, but it's definitely a higher pitched quiet noise than that is. That's more of a thud. This is more of a peh. All right, let's talk about the suppressor itself, the ANECHOX. Let's talk about ANECHOIC's bold claims on the suppressor, which are the following. The ANECHOX 223 is the best, lightest, quietest, lowest recoil, user-serviceable 22 cal titanium suppressor ever made. Now, the reason I think they're saying that is because they are checking a lot of those boxes and doing a lot of qualifying statements before making that claim. For instance, user-serviceable. Not all suppressors are user-serviceable. A big proliferation of 3D printed cans is making it so they're not user-serviceable, so they're not competing with those cans. But as far as what I can find and compare it to, I'm going to go ahead and compare it to HUXWorks because that's normally the brand that I'm running for suppressors. HUXWorks has a can called the Ventium 556. It's user-serviceable, it's titanium, and it's about the same size. One of the claims I want to just kind of compare is the weight. Now, the weight of the Ventium 556 is 15.2 ounces, which is not bad. It's user serviceable, hub compatible like this is. You have the ability to switch out front caps, end caps, and you also have, in the case of the Ventium 556, a stainless steel housing, and then the rest of it is mostly titanium, so that's how they're getting the weight down. This particular can, the ANECHOIC 223, is actually coming in a little bit lighter at 9.1 ounces, which is insanely light. So if you're doing the math at home, 15.2 minus 9.1, it's a weight savings. It equals weight savings. And that is kind of important if you're running an 18-inch 223 wild build like I am, that's already kind of heavy. And it's especially appreciated if it's at the very end of your rifle, because that is where you feel the weight the most. Speaking of hub compatibility, I touched on it a little bit earlier, but this is hub compatible, Bravo compatible. It has the same threading, so it can accept any of those hub adapters, which is huge. I think what we're seeing in the industry is a trend towards hub. It's standardized, it allows you to work with a lot of different adapters, and it basically allows other brands to steal business from customers who have other muzzle devices from other brands. Case in point, I mostly run HUXWorks. My 10.5 has a HUXWorks flash hider. My 14.5 has a HUXWorks flash hider, which isn't going anywhere because it's pin and welded. And if I wanted to be able to run a different can other than HUXWorks on those two builds, I could do so with this simply by going to HUXWorks and getting the Hub QD adapter for 255 additional units. Otherwise, they have all the different direct thread adapters for all the different thread pitches, where you find this. Speaking of which, if you do want to find this somewhere, I would maybe look at the link in the description or the pinned comment, and that'll take you to a different place that also has a code to save you units, if that makes sense. Let's talk a little bit about pros and cons now. I'm going to break it into two main categories, which is going to be units of measure difference and the durability. Now for durability, I can't really speak to it too much because I haven't used this enough to speak on it. But as far as how many times you can shoot it really fast, it's going to be 50 rounds of 223-556 versus HUXWorks cans, which are typically military law enforcement, trial rated, SOCOM rated for a lot of the cans. And those, I'm not as overly concerned about how many times I'm shooting really fast through them. I'm not as concerned about that. They might be a little bit heavier. They might not be as quiet, but I'm not worried about that. For this particular build, and for what I'm going to be using it for, this is more of a DMR type setup. I'm trying to be more surgical, well-play shots. I'm not really cranking my booger hook as fast as I can. If I want to do that, I can up to 50 rounds, and after that, I'm probably not going to want to spend the additional credits to keep going. Not a concern for me, but it might be something that you might want to think about if you're trying to determine what you want to pick up. The other thing is going to be difference in units of measure. So this one is 1100 around there versus the Ventium 556, which is just under 1000. Is that additional 100 making sense to you for the additional weight reduction and the additional sound suppression? That's a choice that you're going to have to make, and luckily you do get to make that choice. The choice, unfortunately, you don't get to make is if you want to give 200 credits to the government for the ability to own something that you should already be able to own, unless you like prison. Now I'm going to stop talking so you guys can actually hear the sound comparisons between the different cans. Yes, there are different builds. Yes, there are different barrel lengths. There are different suppressors. This is probably as scientific as you're going to get today, so hopefully you can hear and listen for the differences. Let me know what you think the best 223 can is in the comment section for as far as like what you're looking for. Also, let me know of the 22 variants that we tried out with this can and the 22 Sparrow, what you thought was quieter, and maybe even if any of those were quieter than the 8.6 Blackout. Enjoy. All right, so I promised you guys I'd tell you about the gear that I was running out on the Planet Hoth. Also, shout out to Planet Hoth. Thanks for hosting me at the range day today. First off, let's talk about the plate carrier. This is an HRT H-Rack. It's got the Maximus placard on it, so I have the 3 mags right here. I've got these 2 big compartments, which actually worked really well for when I was using my putting together and taking apart things. I won't say the T word because YouTube doesn't like that, but also keeping the other cans, keeping the other caps. It was nice to just have that in here and don't have to worry about things falling out because it does this. So that is the plate carrier. Now I'll show you the other layers so I can take them off because it's hot in here. All right, so this is the HRT windbreaker. This is their earlier edition. Now it doesn't have full camo anymore. So this is the windbreaker that I use so I could blend in with my other multicam stuff. But underneath it, I have something else that kept me warm outside. So I'll show you that right now. All right, so I have this little neck gaiter here. I think this is by Condor. Kept my neck warm. And then I have the Helion jacket from Defense Mechanisms. Represent Rebel Alliance on Hoth. You know what's up. And I just have an Under Armour thermal underneath that. All right, for the first build, we have an 18-inch 223 Wild setup. Mostly ballistic advantage with sprinkles of aero precision. We'll start from the very front of the gun and work our way back, as you do on the YouTubes. First, we have the ANECHOIC ANEOX 223, OD green, regular front cap, and they also included for me the 22 end cap. We also have the direct thread attachment in the back. The barrel itself is a ballistic advantage 223 Wild fluted stainless steel barrel for maximum accuracy. Aero Precision 15-inch M-LOK Atlas R1, Magpul bipod, Mod Light OKW, BCM QD attachment, and we also have the Difrico Tiger Claw right here. What's next? You guys want more of the gun or the optic? Let's go with the optic because it's kind of sticking out here. All right, so we have the ACSS Griffin Mill reticuled primary arms, 2.5 power to 10. This is their GLX line version, and then this is the Aero Precision ultra lightweight mount. And then we have, as far as the rest of the gun goes, all ballistic advantage for the most part. So ballistic advantage upper and lower. It's kind of the M4E1 lower, just like Aero Precision has. The trigger itself is the nickel boron coated 2-stage trigger. And then the bolt carrier group is also nickel boron. I believe it's either Aero Precision or Ballistic Advantage sister company, so pretty much 6 of one, half dozen the other. And then we have the charging handle. This charging handle is actually the breech line charging handle from Aero Precision. Pretty cool, worked pretty well. Didn't have any gas in my face, so that was nice. And then we have the Sons of Liberty Gunworks buffer tube. This is their A5 version, so it has all the, the buffer, the spring, all that stuff is in there, and it shoots really soft and works really well. Then we have the Magpul SL stock, and that is pretty much it for this build. Now let's move on to the 22. And for the 22 that we're using, this is the M&P 1522. I have full videos up here. If you want to check this out, I don't think I have a video on that other gun yet, so stay tuned for that. 8-inch barrel. We have the Silencer Co. 22 Sparrow, and we have the TLR RM2 from Streamlight, the Holosun 403R, and that's pretty much it. Everything on this gun is stock otherwise, and then the sling is the Haley Strategic, I think the SLK sling. All right, so that's all the gear that I used. Hope you enjoyed this what was I wearing and what was I using portion of the video. Final thoughts. Or are they? I actually have a few unanswered questions, some of which I can't answer until I put way more rounds through this and do other testing, so stay tuned for that. And the other questions I've actually posed to ANECHOIC directly, and I'm just waiting to hear back. If you have any of the answers to those questions, put them in the comment section below. I'm sure that everyone will benefit from them. But I'm also trying to, in this portion of the video, help you determine what style of zero back pressure or flow through technology makes the most sense for you based on what you're looking to do with it and the features that you care about the most. And I'll also talk about some areas of improvement that I see with this particular suppressor. Maybe ANECHOIC will take my advice. Maybe they won't even watch this video. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So the questions that I had on this were as follows. I want to say it was three-pronged. It was a three-pronged question. First one was going to be, is this a self-tightening design? The HUXWORKS muzzle devices and can combos are self-tightening. As you shoot it, it tightens based on the swirliness inside and the way the round spins, all that good stuff. Is this the same? I couldn't find it anywhere on their documentation. I've asked them directly. I haven't heard back yet. So if you've heard back yet already, put it in the comment section. But I would like to know because it didn't come loose at all while shooting. So it's possible, but I just don't know. Also, regarding the baffles, does it matter what rotation the holes are in, or like what position the holes are in on each one of these individual baffles? Does it affect the accuracy? Is there an optimal way to do it to have the most sound suppression? I've been asking that. I haven't heard back yet on that either, but if you know, put it in the comment section below. The last question I had was, how does this shoot at night? One of the things I noticed from following anechoX for a while was that this looks very similar to the way that their design used to be. It's flat on the front and then it has all the holes around it. They since changed that design to still have the holes around it, but then have these little tines in front, and this helps with flash mitigation. So I'm very interested to see if they figured out something internally to get rid of that flash, or if it's still an issue and they need like another iteration like anechoX did. I guess we'll just have to wait and see until we shoot at night. Now for the astute, or those who have been watching the channel for a while, you might notice that this is my anechoX HXQD 556 Ti. I did not have it in the video today for the shooting portion because there's some warranty work that needs to be done with this. More on that at some other video. But you might have noticed that I've been comparing anechoX and ANECHOIC a lot today because they are both flow-through, or I think these guys call it zero back pressure designs. You can see the holes there, that's a clue. And these are both doing something where they're redirecting gases up and down a bunch of times until it gets out the front. And that is where most of the gases are going. So it's not affecting back pressure. You can attach these, either one of these, to any rifle, and you're not having to tune it at all to get it to run reliably. If it was already running reliably before, it'll continue doing so, which is awesome. And I'm really glad that more companies are incorporating that type of design, because I got into that technology pretty early and I'm never going back to gas in the face. I shoot some of my other friends' builds that have older cans and I'm not a fan of that. Speaking of the front cap and just kind of in general getting into things that I could see being improved on this that would really help the consumer out would be the front cap. So the front cap right now, it has these holes, but if you get any of the additional front caps that you can get from ANECHOIC, they don't have these holes. So if you put on the 22 cap, which I did in the video, you may notice that there's additional back pressure because you don't have all these spots for the gases to vent out. And I definitely noticed that. You probably saw in the footage that I had a double feed when I was running this on the 22 with that 22 specific cap. And I think that's partly due to the fact that they didn't have these holes in those other caps. So my suggestion to ANECHOIC would be, guys, if you're gonna carry those other ones as options that people can pick up, make them like this. And thanks. Also, in terms of areas of improvement, since this is a baffle stack design and not a monocore design, I would, one, like to know what the optimal hole position is for all the baffles. I would further like it to not be a thing that I even need to remember, because it would be great if you had an indexing point on each one of the baffles. So when you're putting it on, let's say they're all on one side of the baffle and there's like a little notch and it goes into that little notch. So indexing, numbering, that would all be awesome if you're going to continue using that baffle stack design. So if you accidentally go, what? And you knock it over, you don't have to be like, oh, which one was the top one and which was the middle one? Because there's 3 titanium ones that look identical. So if you knock those over, who knows what order those are going back in. So which one of these zero back pressure cans is right for you? Well, that's going to be determined by the metallurgy, composition, the heat transfer, and also the strength and weaknesses, honestly, of these 2 options. So first, let's talk about this guy. Who is the person that's going to want this style can over the other? I think it's going to be someone who is letting it rip and they don't give a rip. They don't care about being the quietest can or the lightest can. They care about ripping off as many rounds as possible as fast as they can, and they want some flash reduction and they want some sound reduction. It's not 100% titanium. There is a lot of stainless steel in this as well, and that's adding weight, but it's also adding the ability to not transfer heat as quickly and run way more mags through. U2 compliant mags, of course, before it just heats up and gets like bright, forbidden popsicle red. But who would want this can? Well, I can think of at least 3 types of people, or at least people that want to do 3 types of things that would really enjoy having something that is lightweight, which is one of the strengths, quiet, which is one of the strengths, and maybe wouldn't care as much about being able to rip off more than 50 rounds super fast, which is one of the weaknesses. So first off, let's talk about hunters. Hunters are probably having a longer gun with a longer barrel. They want everything to be as lightweighted as possible. Direct thread is going to be the best for being as lightweight as possible, and just being almost all titanium is really going to help with that. They're running bolt action, lever action, they're not needing to shoot as fast. Probably a good fit. PRS shooter. They are moving to different positions. They're not ripping off 70, 80, 100 rounds as fast as they can. That's probably not going to give them the most points, so this makes sense. But what kind of zero back pressure can should we get? I don't know, bud. That's up to you. It was me the whole time. Wait, that's the same guy? But he was so convincing. Well, that's going to be it for me and the ANECHOIC 223 anechoX can with the 223 cap and the 22 LR cap in beautiful OD green. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you have any prayer questions, that's where those go as well. I love praying for you guys. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay free. And God bless. See you guys. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Cool, I just realized that whole time my mic was on the floor.
Oh, that's awesome. Did it work?
I don't know.
It's too late to try to go contain it. A generation